Right now on Up with KREM, we are tracking our first snowstorm of the season. And as the heavy snow falls this morning, that is going to change the road conditions for the commuters.
As the snow starts to fall, we check in with the city of Spokane to see how they plan to tackle the first taste of winter.
And we're out on the roads this morning checking the conditions as the snow starts to fall.
Well, we are covering all things North Idaho for weather this morning. We'll have all things for your commute coming up next.
Up with KREM begins now.
This morning, KREM 2 is calling for a weather impact alert for today's snow. Here's a live look outside in downtown Spokane of conditions right now. On Up with KREM, we prepare you before you head out the door so you know what to expect. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you if you're watching us on KREM 2+. We begin with meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who's been keeping a close eye on this forecast. Thomas, this one was a tricky one because it was really not sticking, but it looks like in certain parts of the region, especially further west, like Airway Heights, where snow is really sticking to the ground already.
Yeah, this is a tricky forecast because it's not going to be a ton of snow overall because it's melting as it's hitting the ground initially. But some areas, especially out towards the west, where you've seen already the longest duration of snowfall, it is now starting to hit that tipping point where the wet roads are turning into slushy roads, turning into snowy roads, and that progression is going to progress through the rest of the inland northwest. You're going to see that Coeur d'Alene is still pretty wet outside. Downtown Spokane's also wet. Here at our Southdale studios, it's very slushy here on the roadways, and it's just outright snowy to the west. Meanwhile, in the last hour, notice how the snow has really picked up in that region over Lincoln County and areas over the West Plains of Spokane County, just kind of a resurgence of some moisture in the region. So this is not going to stop anytime soon, and the longer it snows, the more likely we're going to see that snow start to accumulate. Winter weather advisories go until 10 a.m. for Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and the Palouse.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact this morning where you can see snow definitely on the grass and parts of the roadway. So definitely keep that in mind as you head out the door this morning. We keep it real here on this show. Right now, traffic is actually moving nice and smoothly. Snow falling, but a lot of it turning to rain, not really sticking to the ground. But of course, it could still be very slick. So keep that in mind as you head out the door. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. On Up with KREM, we do bring you the most in-depth snow coverage. This morning, we have winter storm team coverage on this weather impact alert day. KREM 2's Regan Gallo and Brandon T. Jones are live across Spokane and Kootenai counties, checking on conditions to see how it could impact your day. First, let's check in with Brandon T. Jones with a look at conditions in the Spokane area. Brandon, let us know where you are now and what the roads are looking like. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, right now we made our way back to downtown Spokane. So much of a difference compared to our conversation while we were out in Airway Heights. If you can remember, there was a lot of snow out there. Here in downtown Spokane, you're not seeing as much. You see a little bit of it built up on some of these cars. And from that first time we were out here around like 5 a.m. or so, definitely seeing the snow build up a little bit more on the side of the roads. But at this particular point, not seeing too much of a problem here downtown. Airway Heights, that's a lot different over there. You're seeing way more of that snow, but here in downtown, not as much. When you get on I-90 though, I will say one of the key issues that we had this morning at least was just a little bit of the visibility, not being able to see as much because of that rain snow mix. You can see a little bit of that snow starting to stick toward the grounds here on. It just really kind of depends on the street. So that's what we'll be keeping an eye on throughout the morning to see if we'll see a little bit more of that snow sticking on the ground. But again, we'll be driving throughout Spokane County throughout the entire morning. Please let us know if you're seeing more snow in your area. We want to head out there and check in on some of those conditions. But for now, reporting live in the Storm Tracker, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon T. Jones keeping a close eye on conditions across the Spokane area for us. Thank you. We will check back in with him in less than 15 minutes. Now we want to send it over to Regan Gallo, who is in North Idaho this morning. Regan, what are conditions looking like there? Good morning.
Well, morning, Tim. Well, first I'm going to have to say I think North Idaho weather is finally revving its engine, trying to keep up with Spokane. I'm going to say I finally see snow flurries, and I see on me, they're even sticking to my jacket. I'm right outside Northwest Boulevard not Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, excuse me. But I want you guys to look just over my way. We are right outside North Idaho College, and as you can see with those lights, with the flags, you can see that snow is finally falling down. Now, I don't see anything sticking just yet. However, it is finally here. It is finally coming down, and I'm going to be honest, I have some in the back of my jacket right now on my neck, and I am cold. But finally, North Idaho is catching up. So we'll see how that impacts our commutes coming forward throughout the morning. But if you're getting out the door, just be prepared that those snow flurries are finally coming down. Tim, I'll give it back to you.
All right, Regan, thank you. Yeah, you could definitely see that wind whipping around. Thanks so much. We'll check back in with you in about 20 minutes. And as you head out the door for your morning commute, WashDOT wants to remind all drivers to be careful when driving near snow plows. If you see a plow on the roads, remember to give them plenty of room. You should also avoid passing or tailgating them. Watch out for that cloud of snow or water spray the plows create because it can block your own view of the roads. WashDOT says they do see more crashes during the first snowfall. Also new this morning, Davenport School District now has a 2-hour late start. School will be delayed until 10 a.m. this morning. We will make sure to keep you updated on any school delays or closings here on Up with KREM. Also new this morning, right now, more than 1,000 people are without power in Ferry County. Avista says on their website they are working to restore power as quickly as possible. Meantime, Inland Power also reporting more than 1,200 outages this morning. The majority of them are in Whitman and Spokane County.
We do see an uptick in the number of collisions, especially in the first snowfall, because there is kind of that learning period once again that we go through here in the Inland Northwest with that first snow.
WashDOT says their plows drive at 35 miles per hour or less. That's to ensure the de-icer spreads at a consistent and even rate. If snow plows go too fast, the farther things will be pushed off the blade, the plows, which can be dangerous.
Picked up two-stroke engines, blocks of ice, large boulders before, and when we're pushing that snow to the right and somebody tries to pass, that's the vehicle that's trying to pass that's going to get hit with those items.
Always a good reminder to take it slow and stay alert to avoid any crashes. The Spokane Streets Department is waiting to see how much snow accumulates today before taking any action. The department told us today's snow is not causing concern. They say staff members are working 20 hours a day, monitoring forecast and conditions. There are also 4 satellite sites with supplies and equipment ready to go.
It's a wait and see, but having all the tools with us. So our goal is to be flexible and responsive. That's why we have a lot of those materials in 4 different places throughout the city so that we can react faster.
The city says they started gathering salt and sand over the summer to ensure the city is stocked. They'll add to their supply as needed throughout the winter. City snow season operations run through March 15th. Looking countywide, the Spokane County Public Works Department says they have trucks are on the roads this morning, and they are spreading sand and ice melt. Later today, they are holding a meeting to go over their outline for winter operations. That is scheduled for 11 a.m. Our weather coverage continues on KREM 2 Plus. It is free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you need some help downloading it, you can text us the word plus to 509-448-2000. We'll text you back with more information. We're keeping a close eye on your money. The cost to cook your Thanksgiving dinner will be cheaper than last year. That's according to the American Farm Bureau Federation. It says a classic Thanksgiving meal for 10 with a 16-pound turkey, sides, and a dessert costs just over $58 this year. That's actually down 5% from 2023. Economists saying the turkey is the biggest reason why. Prices are down about $1.70 a pound from a year ago. Other items have also dropped, but even though the meal is cheaper than last year, economists point out prices are still 19% higher compared to 2019.
We have felt the impacts of inflation for several years, and while they've slowed down, we're still feeling it in our pocketbooks at the grocery store.
Economists say they believe food costs should continue to move in the right direction through the holiday season.
We take you to our outdoor weather center for another check of our weather forecast, where I can report that we're still getting a moderate snowfall. Some very big, wet snowflakes falling in front of my eye line here has gotten things very slushy on the pavement, but having a hard time sticking to the ground for most of our eastern areas. We're actually going to zoom in on Doppler radar. Let's go right down into Spokane County, where through the valley areas, like downtown Spokane through Spokane Valley, it's still about a rain-snow mix. Haven't seen any slush on the roadways just yet. But at some of the higher elevations, like when you get to Airway Heights and then along Highway 2 out towards Davenport, this is the stretch of road and the region that is getting the most snow accumulations right now. Snow-covered roads, not just a little wet or slushy. It's actually snowy on these roadways to the west of downtown Spokane. Meanwhile, over Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, even our Doppler radar has it mostly rain over CDA right now. So again, having a hard time really getting the snow to fire up and get it to stick to the ground. But it's only a matter of time. So just be a little bit more patient if you're waiting on the snow in North Idaho. You need to give it a couple hours for the air to physically cool down to the point where that snow is going to stick and really start to get pretty slushy outside. It'll be snow through the morning here, but rain by the afternoon. Coming up, I'll show you how long the snow is going to last and when that transition from snow to rain is going to take place.
We are taking another live look outside right now from the KREM 2 storm tracker on Division there, right before Wellesley. You can see snow falling in this area, but it looks like most of it is sticking to the sides on the grass and the medians, but not a ton on the roadways. It may be kind of a rain, snow, slush on the ground right now. We'll check in with Brandon T. Jones in just a little bit to give you a clearer picture of what conditions are like. We do want to remind you that with today's snowfall, to take it easy out on the roadways, give yourself some extra time and grace with others on the roads. In less than 5 minutes, Brandon will give us an update on the latest conditions in North Spokane.